Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is Monday, December 30th, 2024, and we'll call this meeting in order at 7:31 p.m. Can we call the roll, please?
Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Juarez-Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin? Here. Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Nava-Esparza is absent. Trustee Parada?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. So we'll get our meeting started with our officer report. I hope everybody had a great Christmas weekend so far, and looking forward to a prosperous New Year starting in a couple of days. I wanted to point out well, I'll wait till I get down to finance and IT. I just consulted with the attorney on some. We'll talk about when we get to it. We'll start off with our clerk's report. Clerk Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the approval of the December 2nd, 2024 board meeting minutes, presentation and approval of the December 9th, 2024 committee meeting minutes, presentation and approval of the November 2024 FOIA report, presentation and approval of the December 12th, 2024 special board meeting minutes, and presentation and approval of the November motor fuel tax allotment in the amount of $76,996.77. And that is all I had, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Yes.
On item number one, if clerk, if you can make the correction on line 18, if you could change that from Mayor Ryan to myself, please.
Oh, did I not change that one? I will change that. Sorry about that.
Okay. Next, we have the attorney's report. We have Mike Kankar with us. Mike?
No report, sir.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to our engineer's report. Jeff Hagan. Jeff?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a request of approval of a supplemental resolution for improvements under the Illinois Highway Code for right-of-way acquisition for the reconstruction of 131st Street from Pulaski Road to Kedzie Avenue in the amount of $600,000. This basically covers any right-of-way easements that might be needed and fees with the right-of-way company as well.
So, Jeff, I know we're slated for letting on it this year for construction in 26?
Correct.
Okay, and this year being 25. Okay. Great. How are we doing with all that? Do we have all of our funding, everything's good to go and so forth on that?
Yeah,
For the most part.
where we're planning on being. So.
All right, because we're going to reconstruct, as you said, 131st Street from Kedzie to Pulaski. Is that going to be curb and gutter and all that too?
Yes.
Okay. With a
path.
With a bicycle path. Okay. In the street, do you know, Jeff, or is that on the side, part of a sidewalk?
It's behind the curb, I believe.
Behind the curb. Excellent. Okay. All right. Sounds great.
Yep.
Thank you. Public forum. Did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? No one? Then we'll go on to our standing committee reports. Before we get started, Trustee McLaughlin, you know what? If you want to speak to number 1 and 2, I want to speak to 3 and 4 when you get to that. Okay.
Okay.
It wasn't ordered right, and I want to correct it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know that we need to go out to RFP on both of them.
Exactly, but I spoke to the attorney. We can actually just go with a consensus. We're not making any final action. We're just asking the board. We're going to advertise an RFP. So we're going to ask for a consensus on it, but we'll go ahead and do the other
Okay,
two
yeah, because
first.
I figured I would adjust the wording to say go out for RFP on these items.
Exactly, right.
Okay. First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated December 13th, 2024, totaling $519,113.74. Next, I have a request for approval of a list of accounts payable dated December 30th of 2024. From the recap, General Fund, $1,156,946.96. Road and Bridge, $885,271.99. MFT, $6,850.22. Pulaski TIF, $400 even. Sanitary sewer, $779,000, or water and sewer, sorry, $779,460.29. Sanitary sewers, $2,119.84. And the Heritage Complex is $141,573.45, for a grand total all funds of $2,972,622.75. And now we can talk about copiers.
So what I had in your packet was accurate, it just didn't translate to the, it didn't translate to the agenda correctly. And what I had in the packet, I'm looking at here, it says, what it said was approval to advertise an RFP, which is a request for proposal, for the Village of Alsip's copier needs to include a replacement of 2 copiers, one for police investigation, one for the finance department, including a 60-month agreement to lease, and it's got the unit identified. And then the second part of it was request for a 36-month agreement to cover service and ink toner for 5 existing Toshiba printers that we have and 15 more HP printers, plus the 2 new Canon, or the 2 new Canon printers that we're going to identify as well. The agreement should include at least 360,000 black copies and 51,000 color images. I was just speaking with Attorney Kankar, and what he had said was, even though it didn't translate to the agenda correctly, we can actually just request a consensus to advertise this, because we're not taking any final action, just so we get the RFP out there, because our IT
Right,
manager...
we don't have anything to actually approve tonight.
Exactly.
As it's worded on the agenda.
So the IT manager identified the equipment he thinks would work best, and that's, we'll draft the RFP to include what I just mentioned.
So do we need to do that consensus
So at this
now?
time, yes, I would ask Clerk Harding if you would poll the board to get a consensus to advertise an RFP for the Village of Alsip's copier needs.
Okay, so we're going to do a consensus, and it's item I and J on your agenda.
Yes.
So we're going to pull those
Pull
actually from
those
the
and do
agenda.
a consensus
and-
for it. All right, Trustee Delzell.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Nava Esparza is absent. Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
You have your consensus.
Great, thank you very much.
And that's all I have under finance this evening,
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you. Next was the Fire Committee report. Trustee Murphy?
No report tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Next is the Police and Traffic Safety. Trustee Dalzell?
The presentation and approval of the November 2024 Police Department Monthly Activity Report, and the request for approval to fill a vacant position within the Alsip Police Department to the rank of sergeant. We're staffed at 4 of the 6. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll go to the Public Work and Boat Launch Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the approval of the November 2024 Public Works Monthly Activity Report, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Excuse me. Next is the Sewer and Water Report Committee.
Thank you. I have the approval of the November 2024 Water Department Monthly Activity Report. Item 2 is Andy is working on updating the LCRR, lead and copper monitoring site plan change request form, which is required by the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. This update involves 2 key changes. A, the modifications and additions to the sampling locations, which involves changes in the configuration of monitoring sites or adding and removing certain sites based on current needs and regulations. B, an increase in the number of samples that need to be taken for lead and copper monitoring in response to updated regulations. This update was completed and submitted to the IEPA before the December 31st, 2024 deadline. And that's all I have, sir.
Water Commissioner Andy Karpinski is in the audience. Andy, anything you want to speak to on this yet, too? Can I get, yeah, if you can grab a mic, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, I just wanted to put this in here just to keep the board and village updated with the what seems like ever-changing requirements of the EPA. So we're looking good from the village standpoint. Basically, what the EPA is requiring us to do is to up our sampling and stuff like that. So I just want to thank the participants in this sampling that is required, because a lot of it is done by the residents of the village. So thank you to those people that are participating in this, and that's all I got.
And Andy, you were telling me the other day, too, how's the water audit coming? That was one of the first tasks you got when you came in office.
Yeah, the water audit, I would say, is about 99% done, so we're just going through the dotting the i's and crossing the t's and
Okay.
getting ready to send that off, and that'll be done before the January 5th deadline, too, for 2025, so
That's great.
that'll be off to the IDNR.
That's great. Are we still, you let us know whenever you think you're done with utilizing the consultant and stuff yet, too.
Yeah, we're probably still looking at mid-January. So-
Mid-January?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, no problem. So I told them we give them at least a 30-day notice when we think we're done.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks for coming out tonight. Next, we had the Building and Health Report. Trustee Prada.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I have a presentation and request for approval of the November 2024 Health Department Monthly Activity Report. And in that report, there were 12 complaints and 11 citations. Next, I have a presentation and request for approval of the November 2024 Building Department Monthly Activity Report. And in that report, there were 115 permits entered. The amount collected, including inspector fees, was $38,350, and the estimated cost of construction is valued at $2,528,715. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Roger, ballpark, what do you think, how much construction did we do this year overall, you think?
Definitely under from last year. I can definitely get you that number.
Okay. All right, yeah, when you could, we'll share it next week.
Great. I have one question, Roger, because I noticed on the health report, there's a couple of different notations in terms of yard waste not being picked up. Doesn't yard waste cut off in November?
The last Friday in November, basically in the country, I believe the states, December 1st or the last Friday in November.
Okay, I thought it was a little earlier than that, but, okay. Thank you.
All right. We'll go to Human Resource and Insurance, Trustee Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor. No report tonight.
Thanks. I appreciate you staying up with, I know you've been coordinating a lot of communication with HR about the annual
Harassment training?
harassment training. I believe that's being taken care of right now then, too. Excuse me. Next, we have the special committee reports. We'll start with Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. There is no report this evening.
All right, thank you. We'll go to Village Properties. Trustee McGlohan.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the presentation and approval of the November 2024 monthly activity report, and that's all I have this evening.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to Ordinance Legislation. Trustee Peretta.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I have a request to approve an ordinance authorizing an agreement of the Village of Alsip with Riva Machka Properties, LLC, with respect to the property located at 11500 South Central Avenue, Alsip, Illinois, PIN number 2420401-029-0000. Second, I have a request to approve an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving the renewal of Class 6B assessment status for the real estate located at 11500 South Central Avenue, Alsip, Illinois, PIN number 2420401-029-0000. And I believe we have the owner present with us. If you wouldn't mind coming up and telling the board why you are requesting this Class 6B.
Nelson Ayala. So I'm looking to requesting this because I need the help. We're looking to expand. We're looking to hire more. I'm looking to continue staying here in Alsip for as long as I can, and I want to buy the property that's right next door. So that's our goal.
Okay. Nelson, which property are you
So
looking?
we have the shop and the house, and then there's the house and the lot. And I have a verbal agreement with the old owner, which was Roy,
Okay.
to buy that in the next 2 years. So our goal is to expand and to continue to grow and to hire more guys, more local guys. That's the we're one of the only local shops that do welding. We do a lot of villages.
Right.
We don't do work for Alsip, but we do for the Wealth, for Hinsdale, for Tinley Parks, and we're one of the it's a dying breed, but we want to keep it going.
For welding?
For welding, and we want to repair stuff. You don't have to replace the trucks. We can fix them.
Excuse me.
That's our goal.
We only do a small amount. We actually, some of the, like, especially on Public Works, there's stipends for different people that can handle certain trades, so it might be taken care of there already. So thanks for letting us know.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. And I didn't know, excuse me one second.
Not a problem.
Excuse me. I didn't know Roy retired.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so how long have you had that
I've
business?
been now, it's been 1 year and 3 months. as
Sounds
the
great.
owner, Yes.
How's business?
Business, it's been steady.
Yeah?
We're, like I said, we're looking to expand and branch out and do more stuff. That's what we want to do.
So you still maintaining the Chicago Drive Line name, too?
Yes, we
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Yes,
great.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been there for 40 years. That definitely is vital to me to keep that name going.
Right. No, we appreciate you keeping the business in town. That's a great shop over there, too, and it's a great location, obviously, and stuff, too, right on 115th Street.
Yes.
Trustees, did you have any questions for Mr. Ayala?
No, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out, Nelson. Sorry. Next, we'll go to the Planning and Zoning and Licenses Trustee Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a request for approval of a list of licenses dated November 25th of 2024 through December 6th of 2024. And I have a second list of licenses dated December 10th through the 27th of 2024, December 10th through 27th of 2024. And that's all I have this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Did anyone have any presentations, petitions, or communications they want to share?
I have one item, Mayor, and Madam Clerk. I was looking at the calendar that Erica sent out, and I thought when we were reviewing the calendar, we had decided to not meet on September 2nd because there are 5 Mondays in September, and so we were just going to shift everything down a week as opposed to meeting on that Tuesday, the day after Labor Day.
I will double check. I thought I updated it after that meeting, but that could be my fault. Maybe I didn't update it in the share drive and she sent out the unupdated one, so I will double check that and make sure that that's accurate.
Okay.
And I apologize for not starting the meeting and such, but certainly our hearts and prayers go out to Jimmy Carter's family who passed away yesterday, our 39th president, and all of our flags in recognition of President Carter's passing have been lowered throughout the village for the next 28 days, 30 days, I apologize. And again, we thank him for his service to our country. And it was a great, just everything you saw yesterday, all the recognition that was on TV and so forth for Jimmy Carter. He's a good person, and certainly 100 years old, it's a good life. Anybody gets to 100, I hope I get that far one day and stuff, too. That's a good full life. So, did anyone want to remove anything from the consent agenda? And then can I get a motion to establish the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call number 2 to establish consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Navas Garza is absent. Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Motion carries to establish consent agenda.
Thank you. Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, item F, approval of a supplemental resolution for the improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for right-of-way acquisition for the reconstruction of 131st Street from Pulaski Road to Kedzie Avenue in the amount of $600,000, will now be known as Resolution 2024-12-R-2. Item L, approval of an ordinance authorizing an agreement of the Village of Alsip with Ribamezca Properties, LLC, with respect to the property located at 11500 South Central Avenue, Alsip, Illinois, will now be known as Ordinance 2024-12-2. And item M, approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving the renewal of Class 6B assessment status for the real estate located at 11500 South Central Avenue, Alsip, Illinois, will now be known as Ordinance 2024-12-3. Roll call number 3 to approve consent agenda. Trustee Delzell?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McGawhorn?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Navas Garza is absent. Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Motion carries to approve consent agenda.
Very good. Roger, nice job, too, on overseeing. I was just looking at some of the building permits that were going out this past month, and quite a few garbage corrals that were going out. So, again, it's an old ordinance that really wasn't enforced real big, but the last couple of years, anybody that's got a 3-unit building or larger had to have a corral around their dumpsters in order to contain all the garbage that was put out there, because it was just getting to be just a big old mess after a while. So, good job overseeing that and stuff yet, too, Did anybody have any unfinished business? Any new business? Can I get a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The time now is 7:53 PM, and thank you for joining us this evening, and Happy New Year to everybody then, too.
See you next year.
Okay.